Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Stamp and Create with Beth. I'm Beth Roy, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So I'm just going to pull up my video here. If you pop in, say good morning. There we go. Good morning, Maggie. So good morning, everyone. If you're just popping in, watching the replay, or new to hanging out with us, feel free to say hi and let us know where you're watching from. Good morning, Joan. So I'm just going to give it a few and let my notifications go out. And we're going to talk about the stack, cut, and shuffle technique today. So if you've been stamping with me and making cards with me for a while, you may have seen me do this technique. So have any of you watching, so you can say this on the replay too, you can answer this question if you've done this technique before. So if you're watching and you've done it, give a little hand raise in the comments. Good morning, Vicki. I have stuff everywhere on my desk this morning. I've been just popping in and out of my room all week, and I haven't done a very good job of cleaning up after myself. So, okay. So if you've done this technique, give a little hand raise in the comments. And if you have any questions as we're going along, feel free to just pop those in. If you're watching the replay, tag me so that I can see your comment and then answer your question. Good morning, Linda. So I wanted to show you some of my past stack, cut, and shuffle cards. And I also wanted to show you some really old cards from, I don't even remember what year. I found them in my stash with just black and white paper. So I want to show you real quick what paper I use. So here's my set of cards that I made recently. And you can see these are using some of the new papers. Okay. So this one I didn't finish yet. I wanted to show you the layer. So this is, this is in the new online exclusives, Botanical Textures. So, really pretty. So it has some black and white designs. And some of them have more white, and some of them have more of the black and the gray. So this would be like basic black and then stamped off. And I love this piece. We have a stamp that looks like this as well, the painted stripes. So you have some that are very dark. I picked these 3 patterns to do my cards that you just saw. And there's some very bold designs. So some of them have white with black leaves, and some of them are very dark like this one. And then this one, I think this is gorgeous. You could cut around these and use them for extras. That piece is really cool. And then this one is a black background with the white leaves. So sometimes it's hard to use this black and white paper. It just feels, kind of rigid. Good morning, Deb. Good morning, Dad. Thank you all for joining me. So I wanted to show you how I mixed and matched that paper. I cut my pieces I stacked them and cut them so that they were all even. And then I just rearranged them. So like this one, you can see the pieces. Actually, this goes this direction. So, or it can go either direction when you're making your card. So this time I used 3 patterns, and they can make landscape cards or they can make portrait cards, facing cards. So these were the sets that I made. So this is cut one direction, and then this is cut a different way. So sometimes I have shown this in the past. Here's some of my more recent ones where we use 4 patterns, and so you make 4 cards. So see, we cut them and then we shuffled the papers around. So you can do it like this and have a border, or you can do it like this and just make a big bold design. So here's some that I've done in the past with 4 patterns and kind of a square look. This one of these I've used, so I use them when I can. But I wanted to show you that because you've probably seen me do the one with 4 where we have a border and we cut it and mix and match. Well, today I was going to do 3. So this one, I didn't make a border. I do have it on a piece just to make it more sturdy, easier to glue. So I did put it on a white piece of cardstock, and then that is just adhered onto a card base, and a greeting is added. So this paper, some of them I added color. So on these I added Pool Party and Soft Seafoam. I kept it very light. This one I made a really bold card. So, and I wanted to show you some bold cards that I had made in the past with black and white paper that we had. So I found these the other day, and this was a class I did, and we had all this black and white paper with stripes and butterflies, and this is Lovely Lipstick, and I don't remember what this pink was. It might be Flirty Flamingo. And so it had polka dots, and it had butterflies and flowers. And so I want to show you some really bold cards that I did, just to give you an idea of how you might layer and use this paper. So this is die cut. We had stitched rectangles. That's what I used with this. And I did all different sizes. I don't know if I finished any of them. This was when I had really bad habits of finishing the insides of my cards. But you can see I used my blends, and I just I had a lot of fun just adding color. No, they're not realistic, but you can see how you can. I use the same designs, see the same layouts. And I just popped some of those geometric shapes in with this. So you might find some paper like this throughout our paper packs. And that's how you could add color and make the paper look completely different. Thank you, Joan. I love when we have black and white or gray and white paper packs, because I really feel like you can do just fun things with it. So you could cut these in squares like this and do like I did with those and create layers, and use these other pieces in areas like this. Let me pull one back in here where the pattern is not so overwhelming. So this is a strip that goes the length of the paper, and then I used the black mat to make a border, and then used really bold color. So I love reusing layouts like this, but you could easily use some of these patterns. Here's some pieces I had left over. So you could tuck this in, create your matted piece with your leaf patterns that can be colored, and do it that way. And you could even just put this in the middle. You can also, I used blends, but you can also use your blending brushes to add color, Or when you're just doing a really small space, you can use the Stampin' Write markers. When you're doing a big space, it does leave lines, so that's something to think about. Now the Designer Series paper is very thin, so it's not going to take water very well. So I personally do not like to add watercolor, but you could do like a color wash and then just pat it dry and let it dry. This paper pills very easily. So what do you guys think? Are you ready to dive in and make some cards? So I'm not sure how I finished this one off. You can do monotone. This is like a monotone look. You can do bold color or just your favorites and make a set. You guys know teals are my favorites, teals and blues. So, oh, let me show you. And I wanted to show you, I had these pieces left over. I'll show you when I cut. Thank you for the love. And I popped one on the inside of my card. So you can cut these down. I'll show you when I cut the paper what we have left. And you can cut these down. You could actually cut them in half and they would fit in all six. You can make 6 cards from one strip that I cut, and you could cut these in half and have a little piece for the inside of every single card. Now this one I did full, but that's okay. I wanted to show it to you. And I even added some color on this one. So this is this pattern right here. And instead of leaving it white, I did a little wash of Pool Party over it. So really, really fun. And like I said, you could use all your favorite colors. I mean, it's black and white, right? And you can use die cuts if you are into die cuts. If you want to keep it simpler, you can just use your trimmer and use those scraps of white paper that you have from cutting down your layers and just pop on a greeting. Hey, Deb. I don't know if I said good morning to you. Good morning. I might have missed you, Deb. I'm sorry. Your comment just showed up. So if I missed you, I'm sorry. Oh. So, Deb, I hope you're feeling better today. I hope everyone's well. I know it's kind of gloomy here, but it's not too bad. It's not cold, too cold at least. Okay, so these are the 3 patterns that I used, and this paper is a 12 by 12, so that may dictate how many you get if you're using a 6 by 6 paper. You can still cut it down and have a strip for the inside of your cards. It'll just come out a little bit different when you're using the bigger patterns. So, do you guys want to use the same ones I used? Would you like to use one of these other ones? So I want to try to keep it balanced where I don't have all really dark. I want somewhere that I can add color if I want to. So like something like this, you could use your blending brush. I love this piece. I don't know how it would look cut up. Let me grab my ruler here real quick. Sometimes I pull out my trusty ruler just to see if I cut it at 4, because then I'm cutting this down. So I did straight cuts. I did horizontal and vertical. We can do diagonal. Okay. So that one's pretty, a pretty dark piece too. And then there's this piece. So we can do whatever. We can do the 3 I already have, or we can swap any. What do you guys think? Do you have a preference? You want me to just use what I've been using? Let's get a little creative chatter going. You like these, Joan? And I really picked the smaller leaf just because I knew, like, let me pull a couple of these out. So I knew when I cut these up that this pattern would, being smaller, it would fit for this strip that I used, this pattern that I used. Or I mean, cutting, you know, cutting wise. But the large leaf would work as well. Now we can do a diagonal cut if you guys want to try a diagonal instead of straight. So you got the horizontal and the vertical. This one. So let me show you the backs of these. So here's the backs of those. You don't like the really dark ones, Deb? I don't blame you. I have a hard time using those. I mean, that's the honest part of this is sometimes there are patterns that feel hard to use. And so that's why I wanted to show you these old cards that I came across, where and these have more white. Obviously I chose the sides that were more white, but you could use strips of those really dark pieces with some of your favorite colors, and it kind of tones down that darkness. And so I will do some of those with this paper because I think those real dark pieces feel like they might be hard to use. So I'm going to reuse some of my layouts that I did. Like I said, this was a class I did. I don't even remember when we had this paper. It was long ago, but it was very popular. I think I still have packs of this paper. And I loved that it had the geometric, kind of the dots and the lines with these other patterns. And some of them were very busy. And I picked a color combo and I went with it. So I think this was actually like Bermuda Bay. And that looks like, that might be Coastal Cabana cardstock. So I just picked bold colors to offset that black and white. I don't think that pattern, I don't know if that, okay, what do you guys think? I flipped it over. Ironically, that's one of my favorites, is that that painted stripe. I think it just lets more white in, so it tones it down. So what do you think? Do you like that? Let's see what you guys have to say. Now, when I put this over on YouTube, I know that you cannot see the comments from Facebook. So I will try to make sure I'm saying what is happening. So, well, remember, Vicki, when we cut this up, they're all going to switch positions. So at some point, these two may end up like this because we are stacking, cutting, and shuffling. So when we shuffle, let me show you the original with the 4, your patterns may touch. So they won't always be evenly distributed. Where's my other ones? So these have 4, okay? So when we cut and shuffle them, patterns may touch, you know. So you want to make sure you like all the patterns. That's my hardest thing, is finding patterns and how I want. Now, if you're cutting them vertical or horizontal, you may be able to interchange the pieces like I did on this one. You know, you can just kind of flip it around and they can move. Now this one, the middle piece is a different size, so they're not always, but like something like this, they're cut exactly the same. Now actually I trimmed this one, but these are cut exactly the same. So you could put this one in the middle every time. But if you're doing a diagonal or something, they're not going to end up that way. So this one, and then this one. So my preference is, I don't necessarily like the line art leaf with the filled in leaf. So you could do that. Or, I don't know how, let me see. So Deb, you don't like the dotted one. So you don't like that one. Okay. Let me see what else we have here. So I'm just reading, adding the teal or old olive and leaves on dark, and then maybe the background on the light. So if we took that away, I still feel like at some point we're going to have a dark one. You know what I mean? So, I'm trying to see. Is that too many leaves? What do you guys think? Or do you... Now this is going to look different. Remember, you're looking at a big piece, and this piece is going to look like this. Oh, I see some likes. Do you like these patterns together? This has the feel because it has the swirls. It has a little more, it has a little more white in it versus, you know, like this one that's, I would call this like a chalkboard, you know, so if you put that in, I think this really goes, and that doesn't bother me, because I like to have one of the colors kind of bold. So what do you think? Yeah, I agree, Joan. 2 leaf patterns are, just too much. Okay, so let's put up some choices here. We're going to vote. And it's okay if you don't love something. That's okay. I'm just going to kind of go with it so we can kind of see. Okay, so let's put a little vote on here. Let me bring something different in. Okay, so I don't particularly like, I like mixing 2 kind of randoms with no leaves. That's just me. So here's my original one. We'll say this is number 1. Okay. So there's number 1, and it has more of a, it's like a diluted black. So it's more of a gray. This has the black outline, but it kind of tones it down a little bit. And it does bring in with the black dots. Okay. And then it has, this is, we actually have a stamp that does this. So if you like this pattern, you can get the background stamp. Okay. So there's number 1. It has a more muted because it, scheme because it has mostly like the gray tones. And then here is number 2. We'll do the swirls. Now remember, you're only going to get about this much. Okay, so sometimes when we look at that big 12 by 12 inch sheet, it's overwhelming. Deb, it looks like an ultrasound. Somebody said it looks like an angry storm. And somebody said it looks like an ultrasound. Well, yeah, I agree. It does. It has kind of a different look to it. But I think when you look at it, just look at this much of it, okay? And remember, we're going to cut it apart. So it's not one big 5 1/4 inch by 4 inch piece. We're going to chop it. So we're going to tone that down a little bit. And we're going to keep our cards simple. I'm not adding any die cuts to it. You could add die cuts and kind of, I had a set that I used. It was the blue pattern set, but I put a bird with it along with my greetings. So you can really step it up and add more things, or you can keep it really simple like this. So this is going to be number 2, okay? And it brings in a little bit of a darker element. And remember, these are going to flip-flop. So the pattern might go like this. It might go like this, okay? It's going to switch around. That's what the shuffle means. So we're going to shuffle our pattern around. Okay, so let's see. Let me see if I can find one more that I like. Let me see. What was on the back of this one? Oh, that's the big leaf. What if we took that one away? So this is changing it up, and we're adding two different pieces, and then that striped piece. And the reason why I'm keeping the striped piece, just so that you can understand my thought process here. Obviously, you may choose something very different than me. My thinking is it brings in more white, and I want to lighten up my card a little bit. So this one is like that other gray. It had some dots in it, but it's kind of a swirled, like an alcohol ink pattern. So this is the bigger leaf with the stripe and this pattern. So this is number 3. So good morning, Carol. I love this paper too, but I do think sometimes the patterns feel overwhelming. We look at the darkness of it, and we look at just the pattern in a large sheet, and we're chopping it down. So we want to chop it down and make it manageable. So here's pattern 3. So let me pull back in. What did I don't even remember what I did for number 1 now. Oh my word. What did I say? This was number 2. I know. So that was number 2. Let me pull this one away. That was number 3. This was number 2, and number 1 I think I had was my original. So number 1 is the original. Hey, Anne, good morning. Number 2 was pulling in the swirl. Okay. And oh my goodness. Number 3 was flipping these 2 out and keeping the stripe. Thank you, Vicki. Oh, Carol, yes, that's what I did too. So we're doing the shuffle pattern, and I mixed the patterns, and we're cutting them up and shuffling them. So this technique is called the stack, cut, and shuffle. So we will stack the paper and cut it. So let me see what our votes are here. So I do see a 1, which was my original choices. I see a lot of 3s. I see a lot of 3s. So you guys like this one right here. So remember, we're going to chop it down, okay? And we're going to make it manageable. And you could, if you don't like this bigger one, you could swap this out. But and I like that too. I like the leaf patterns. I want to have something I can add a little color to if I want. So we're going to do it, I guess, a little different. I think 3 is winning out. A lot of people said 3. Thank you all for voting and jumping in. I appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this other piece that is 12 by 12 just so I can show you how it starts from the beginning. So let me grab my paper pack here. And like I said, if you're following along and you know, pick the patterns that you love. So this can be for any paper you want, but I just want to show you some ideas for this new paper pack because I think some of the patterns, especially these really dark ones, feel overwhelming. And yes, you could pick something like this and do, you know, some of the lighter patterns and then add color. You can mix and match. I just really like the white background. And I'm going to probably do this whole pack this way just because I want to use up some of these pieces that might have that overwhelming feel because they're so dark, right? But I love it. And I love this paper. So the darker small leaf. Is this the one that you mean, Vicki? Is that the... I'm not sure, because there's a couple that have small leaves. And there's that one that has small leaves. So if you're not wanting to add any yeah, it's on the stripe, which I will show you a little something if we cut strips, okay? So if you're cutting strips, you can flip them all back and forth. So if you're cutting something like this, so remember, here's my panel I created that I haven't made a card with yet. If you're cutting strips like this, and say you use 4 patterns, okay? And you're doing strips, 1-inch strips. I did 3 patterns, so it doesn't quite work out equal. But if you did 1-inch strips, you could flip any of these over. You can mix and match. So here's this stripe. It doesn't look very striped, does it? Because I cut it this direction. But when you do it on this paper, you get a little bit more of the stripe, depending on how you cut your paper. So that, you know, that may... that may change your mind. Okay, so let's put them together. We're going to stack them, and I'm just going to stack them like this. If you want a certain thing, you can turn your paper. Maybe we'll turn it like that. Okay, and I'm going to put my striped that way, and then I'm going to throw in this, and we just stack them together. That's why I got a new piece, just so you could see how I'm cutting it. So I'm making sure they're all together, and we're going to bring in our trimmer. And I'm just going to make the size panels that I want for the front of my card. So because I'm not going to mat these with a border, okay, I'm not going to make it have a border like I have in the past. I am going to cut these at 5 1/4 inch by 4. A watercolor? Yeah. Yeah, that... So I think you could really mix and match these patterns well. Okay. So Carol says she used 3/4 inch paper strips. Oh yeah, I love to do that too. So, and you may find that you have strips of this paper left after this technique that you can make even more cards with. So we're going to stack everything together. And I'm going to cut it at 4. And we'll see how well I can keep it together. So I'm trying to just hold it so my papers don't move. And I'm cutting them all together at 4 inches. Now, if you cut this all at once, you're going to get 3 strips of 4 by 12, okay? Then I take this stack, making sure I'm still lined up here, and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. And I'm leaving them all stacked together. I want them to be the same size so that when I chop them apart, they fit back together. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one too. So this is why I said you could get this one, because I did 3 patterns. I'm going to get 6 cards. Oh. So 5 1/4 inch. So it gives me these left. You can cut these in half. Okay. Or you can make a card with these, just like this. Okay. But I am going to show you how I'm going to use them on the inside. I'm not even sure how. These are just, they're not even somehow. Well, I guess they're about a 1 1/2. So you could do 3/4. I'm just eyeballing. I'm not worried about if it's exact. Oops. My paper wants to curl on me. I'm going to cut those in half. Now we've got some strips. So you could do Carol's suggestion and take all these strips and make, you could flip-flop them and mix and match all your patterns. But I'm going to show you another way to use those. Okay, let me just catch up on comments here. I'm going to take a little sip of coffee. Yes, Deb, you could use both sides. You could definitely flip them around. And play with it. And just have some fun. Explore this paper. It's basically about cutting it up and making it bite size so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming. So now I have my 3 pieces, okay? They're my card front size. So here I have some white, and I've basically, once I cut them up, I like to adhere mine onto a piece just to make it sturdy. You could glue it directly to your card base. That would be fine too. But I just feel like I have a better time lining them up when I have a little bit of a guide. And it makes this a little sturdier. So I'm going to take these 3 pieces stacked together and I'm going to cut them. So let's have a little vote. I didn't have any of my diagonal ones that I'd done in the past. So I only have my straight cuts. This one, I cut portrait like this. This one, I turned and I cut everything evenly, and then we mixed and matched. So do you want to do a straight cut like that? You can also cut it down the middle and then cut one in half and just, so you have a long strip and then you have 2 pieces on the side. That's kind of like, it would come out kind of like this. Okay, so this is 2 separate pieces, but it would kind of look like this. And we won't have this mat. It's gonna, it's just gonna go directly onto the card base. So we can do a straight cut or a diagonal cut. So let's vote on that. So do you want a straight cut, A? Let's say A is straight, B is diagonal. And then we're going to chop this up, swap it around, add color if we want to, and quickly complete some cards. I know we've had a lot of discussion and stuff to get to this point, but it kind of goes quick, and please don't overthink it. So A for straight and B for diagonal. Yeah, I think, anytime you have a really bold pattern, you have to think about cutting it into a bite-sized piece. That's what I call it. And then sometimes mixing it with something to help tone it down makes it usable. And I could cut up this whole paper pack and have a ton of really pretty cards. And if you don't want to, if you don't add color with markers, you could certainly add color with your blending brushes or the watercolor pencils. I'm just not adding any water to this paper because it does not take water very well. It's very thin. Oh, I see a lot of straight cuts. All right. So I'm going to kind of, I'm going to come up with a new design. I'm going to do what I just said. I'm going to cut a long strip, and then I'm going to cut the other strip into two rectangles or squares, like a rectangle and a square. And then I'm going to show you the shuffle technique. So this is the stack. We did the stack. We did the cut. Now we're going to do the second cut. And you want to have it all stacked together. Maybe I'll cut the diagonals. Maybe I'll do both. I have two stacks here. That way you can kind of see it. So, I'm going to cut this one. So this is 4 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 2. And I have everything stacked together. So I'm going to line it up. I'm going to put it on the 2, and I'm going to chop it. So there's my first one, okay? So let me stack this over here. This goes like this. Now this one I'm going to turn, and I'm going to cut it at 2. Because I like to have a square and a rectangle. You could cut it in half, so you can adjust that if you want. Just kind of my preference. So there's that. So here's how our paper goes back together. And I'm going to show you the shuffle. And then I will, once I do that, I will come back and cut this other one in a diagonal. So I know we voted, but I forgot I had 2 stacks. So we have, you just start doing this. We have 3 cards, right? There's my 3 pieces. Now we're going to shuffle. This piece will go here. This piece will go here, and this piece will go here. Then we start with the next one. Here, here, and here. So each card has one size of the pattern. So it goes like this. And remember, we can add color over here. So don't just look at this piece and think, oh man, this looks really, really bland, right? Nope, we're going to add color. So it fits back together like that. Okay, so we have our 3 pieces. Now let me cut the other one, and we'll shuffle. And then we'll make all the layers on my cardstock. And then we'll add color to a couple and finish up the cards. But if you like to do batching, you could make all your panels and then go back and add the colors that you want later and the greetings and the bases. So you can just create all these panels like this and they're ready to go. Okay, let's do a diagonal. And I eyeball it. So I'm just eyeballing this. I'm going to cut it 3 times. So I'm going to cut that way. And then I'm going to slide it. And I'm going to cut again. So you can do it however you want. I might have to cut some more white pieces. So to do this one, we have our 3 pieces. You do the same thing. You're going to lay out your bits. Then you're going to go to your second stack. And it goes here, here, and here. And then here, here, and there. So when you put this back together, it fits just like that. So that's what it would look like diagonal. And I've done diagonal where I cut this way and then I cut this way. You can really do it however you want. You're just holding your pieces together while you cut so that when you shuffle them, they fit together. Okay? So I just stack them up like this. I do this so I can keep them separate. And it's ready to go. And then you bring in this piece. So let's do let's just start adhering these. So I just grab my glue. These are cut. They're just basic white pieces. If you want, you could also use the Willow White that comes in 12 by 12. It's cut to 4 inches this direction by 5 1/4. So exactly how we did our layers. Oh, my glue doesn't want to come out. Get a different one here. So this is, you know, if you said, oh, you know what, I like this piece instead, flip it over. Even if you have it cut, as long as you are, now the diagonal ones, those are a little harder to flip. Oop. Getting glue everywhere. So I'm just going to lay this on here. I like liquid glue because I like to be able to move my piece and it doesn't set right away. So I can move it. I can make sure that I'm not hanging over, and then I get it lined up. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. So this goes here, and then we have our square. So see, there's that swirl piece. I think when you chop it down, it looks really different. I might have to get a new glue. Oh my goodness, there we go. It just doesn't want to come out. All right. So I slide this on. Again, I'm just trying to make sure I have it lined up. Grab a new glue. So if you wanted a space, you could cut your layer a little smaller and create white space or whatever. If you put this on a colored piece of cardstock, you could create a space between these. And I would just use 5 inches by 3 3/4. So have a little bit of play with your sizes and see what you like. There we go. I'm just going to keep moving along. So how many of you have bought this paper? I'm curious. Oh, now see, this is why I turn it over, because every once in a while I get it wonky. And sometimes those white patterns are hard to see. Oops, I got glue everywhere. So how many have bought this paper? And I want to try this technique with it now. I like it. So see, if you, even if you got here and you thought, oh wait, I like that better, you could flip it over. So this paper is in the new March online exclusives. So if you're looking for it in my store, if you go, you can just look under new products, or you could look under online exclusives, and you're going to be able to find it. It should come up first. Usually the new products come up first. And it's part of a beautiful suite of products. But I just have the paper. Deb, you're ordering soon. Oh, Carol, you have 2 packs so far? Yeah, I think this would be something that I would buy multiple packs of. I really like it. I think it can be moody. It has some, you know, what I would call maybe moody prints, like these darker swirled prints. And I just really think you can do a lot of things with those. Sometimes we have to just look at the paper a little bit differently. Okay. So there are my panels, right? So I could make panels all day and then move on to finishing my cards. Oops, I've got, sorry, I have glue everywhere. So I'm going to stack these over here for a minute. And I'm going to make one of these diagonals. So I'm just going to grab the first one off my top here. So remember, they go in a specific order because the diagonals are harder to rearrange because they have to go. Now, if I flipped this over, I would have to flip all of them over. That's what I mean. On these, you can flip one. On these, you would have to flip all the patterns. But, you know, you might make a stack, lots of stacks of these and cut them all different ways just so that you can have a variety of the designs. You don't have to do every stack the same. That's what I love about this technique. You can have a lot of fun with it. Oops. I think I was crooked on one of them. I mean, when I glued it. I'm going to pull this off a little bit and try to straighten it up here. It happens. My fingers are really sticky, so nothing wants to let go of me. Line it up on this edge, and I'm not worried about if I got something off and it overlaps here. Now if I was leaving white space, then that would matter, but I'm not worried about it. I got glue everywhere on that one. It's okay. I'm gonna grab a wipe really quick and clean up my my fingers because I'm sticking to everything. Carol, you bought the suite. So you like the whole suite? Yeah, I haven't, I didn't get everything. But I do like several things. But this paper caught my eye right away. So I'm using an adhesive remover here just to gently pull some of that, glue off my paper because I had it on my fingers and it got on everywhere. But you know what? I can put my greeting there and it's not a problem. Okay. Let's see. Do I have a Facebook page to post cards? You mean for me, Carol, or for you to share? Vicki is correct in saying that I love to see what you're doing and to share. And I try very hard to make like a post with maybe this card on it and then say, show me your ideas, because I definitely want to see what you did. So Carol, if you want to share some of your cards you made with this paper, I would love it if you shared those with us. And I will make a post. Actually, I did make a post. What card did I show? Was it this one? I have a post with this card on it. And you are welcome to pop in. I posted this yesterday. You're welcome to pop in pictures in the comments. And I know if those of you out there, if you don't know this, Stampin' Up! Requires us to copyright when we are demonstrators. So if you are a demonstrator, feel free to copyright your picture on my page. That does not offend me in the least. But yes, I welcome you to share. Yeah, share away. I would love to see them. And so would everyone else watching. We are a creative community and we like to share ideas. Thank you, Vicki, for answering her on that. I didn't see that right away as I was gluing myself as well. So just scrolling back through real quick. So Joan, it's on your list too, Deb. Ooh, the zigzag and the cloud edges. Yes, when we had the basic border dies. Great idea, Vicki. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, so if you have an edge die, you could certainly cut it on your let me see if sorry, that was I'm getting stuck. My button was stuck on my desk there. You could certainly use a shaped die and cut it and then keep it stacked together. I would highly recommend like Post-it tape or something, washi tape, something that's low tack, and then move your die up, cut it again, move your die up, cut it again, and then reassemble those. And as long as you cut your papers that you want to shuffle together, they're going to mix and match and be the size that you want. It's not going to be as hard to put those together. So you see, here's the 3 I created with this one. Here's this. Okay. I'm going to glue, I have one more piece over here. Let me glue the next one. So I'm just going to grab it. I think I grabbed too many. So this one, this is on the bottom. Here, let me glue the one that's in the middle so that you can kind of see. So this would go here, and then this piece, and then this piece, like that. And let's see. Everybody cross your fingers for me so that I don't have glue everywhere again. So when you have a new bottle of glue, you don't want to really squeeze it because a lot will come out, and Designer Series paper does not need a ton of glue. So I'm going to lay this down. And let me show you a couple ways. So I glued the top here. Let me show you another way to do this. Okay, so we're going to leave that piece off, and I'm going to glue the bottom. And then you can glue the middle. So if something doesn't line up exact, just overlap them. Designer Series paper is thin enough that it's not as noticeable as, say, a thick cardstock. Okay. And I'm just going to line those up. So you could glue your 2 ends, and then you're going to just adhere your middle on. Thank you, Anne. Yes, anytime. You can also post, if you're in my group, you can make posts in our Stamp and Create with Beth group anytime you want. Anytime you want to share something. And I highly encourage you to be part of that community. We share a lot over there. So there. So you can also glue your 2 end pieces on and then your middle. Thanks. Thanks, Anne. Yeah, so you should be, if you're watching me now, you should be on my page. Excuse me. But if you want to share like single posts, you certainly can join the group, which you can also find through the page. There's a tab that has groups on it. So thanks for sharing that, Anne. So there are these, and like I said, it kind of looks moody, doesn't it? It has a little moodiness to it. So let's add some color to this one. We'll do these two. I'm going to do these two. And I know I have one over here that's not glued yet. That's okay. You can also leave them black and white and just add a colored base. So if if you're using circles or a die, you could add a colored piece of cardstock behind your greeting and then just a colored piece on your base. And leave everything else black and white. There's so many possibilities with this. I really hope you play with it and have fun. So what colors do we want to use? I right now, because of the cards I made earlier, I have Soft Sea Foam out and Light Pool Party. And then I also have that really bold Melon Mambo out. But we could do anything. So we really, really could do anything. So do you guys want to try Old Olive? I know Vicki mentioned that color earlier. We could do an Old Olive over here. Let me grab some Old Olive blends. What do you think? Old Olive is one of my favorite greens. Those colors, those cards I showed earlier with that lovely lipstick, which was kind of like a Melon Mambo color. It was an in color way back. I don't even remember what year. It was beautiful. It took me too long to get on board with it, so I don't have a lot of the things in that color. But, and I also used Bermuda Bay. That was one of my favorite teals. But I used Old Olive with both of those. So I like Old Olive. It's one of my favorite greens. Soft colors, maybe a crumb cake. Oh, a crumb cake. That's not something I would typically think because we have blacks and grays. So that would be very different. Let's see if I have my blends charts here. So here's all my blends. And I just want to mention something that I recently learned. Alcohol markers are not light fast, meaning they fade due to just the environment and the elements over time. So I colored some of these a long time ago. There's the Melon Mambo. And they may not stay true to color for a long time. I don't know what the time limit is on that. But here's crumb cake. So let's pull this in. There's crumb cake. So you could definitely use a neutral. Where's my Old Olive? Here's Old Olive. Okay. Ooh, Berry Burst, Lost Lagoon. Ooh, red. So let's just explore. There's Cherry Cobbler. There's the Real Red and Poppy Parades. Here's my favorite kind of orangey pinks. Lost Lagoon, I think, is over here. So here's what I do as I add colors. There's Lost Lagoon and Berry Burst. Ooh, those would even look good together. Deb, those would look great together. So we need to pare it down, and we've got to vote so that I can get it done. This is probably where I spend the most time in my creative journey, is picking the colors I want to use. And it's a card, so we don't have to, it doesn't have to be realistic. It can be whatever you like. Whatever you like. So there's Lost Lagoon and Berry Burst right next to each other. If you kind of like those tones, and you could use green over here and the other color over here. They don't have to be on the same piece. We're just adding some color. So Soft Sea Foam. Let me bring in my original. So this one had, let me pull it right up. The leaves were Soft Sea Foam, and then I had Light Pool Party on the background. And it looks a little darker than, say, Light Pool Party on cardstock because the paper's different and how it absorbs it is different. Thank you, Carol. This is also in my group. All the blends, there's been more blends that I didn't own. Okay, there were some colors maybe I didn't buy when I was first starting out. And so I often put, like if it's retired, I had very few of some of these that went, and I didn't really use them very often. But I also, these are just blank, and so you fill in your color. But they're in my group if you would like those. You can print them. I print them on the cardstock that I color on. So this is on basic white cardstock because that shows me exactly how the blend truly looks. Now it's going to look a little different on this. So we could go with a blue over here, and a green. So what, I know, Anne, you said red. What kind of, I mean, you mean red on the leaves? Highland Heather and Berry Burst. So this is a reddish purple, and this is more of a blue. So I can't really put them together, can I? So I just like to have my chart so that I can see this is what I have, and this is kind of how it looks when I color with them. So we've got to pare it down a little bit. Let's pick a green. Let's pick a green first. So let's vote. I've seen 3 greens mentioned. Oh, you mean for the greeting. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you meant for the coloring, Anne, for the red. Ooh. And Vicki, I'm not saying those colors are wrong, so don't think that. I was just saying if you're, they have kind of a different tone. So I don't think that they, I don't think they're bad together. I don't think that at all. I just, yeah, so this kind of lets you know some of purples are more red. I don't know that we actually have a true purple blend because our true purple would be more like the Gorgeous Grape, and we don't have a blend in that color. So if you wanted that color, you could use your marker, like your Stampin' Write marker. But yeah, no, those colors all work fine together. Just letting you know the tone's a little bit different. I just like, you know how much I love color, and I like to definitely talk about some of those things. So let's pick a green. So this is what I have on my desk. I don't have Lost Lagoon now, but we certainly could use that. I have Soft Sea Foam and Old Olive here, right here at my fingertips. I am going to try some of these other colors because you're throwing them out there, and I love to hear what colors you would pick because I feel like I always use my favorites. So let's vote between these 2 greens. I have, so they're right here. This is Soft Sea Foam, and this is Old Olive. So let's do 1 for Soft Sea Foam and 2 for Old Olive. Let's vote for that, and then we'll see what color we want to go with it, or if we just want it to be monotone. So maybe we'll do everything's in the green. You don't have to have 2 colors. Let me see if I did. That's what I did on this card. So I did my greeting in Pretty Peacock, but all of this was pool party, and then a pool party base. So I just kept it very monochromatic, and I used 1 color. So 1 is Soft Seafoam, 2 is Old Olive. Again, there's no wrong choice. We're just making choices. And there's really no, in my opinion, now someone else might have a different opinion, but I don't really think there is wrong color combos. It really kind of depends on how you like the colors and how they work together for you and where you're putting those colors on your project. So I like all of them. Okay, let's see. Oh, a lot of people went for Old Olive. All right, Old Olive it is. So let's fill in our leaves and then see what we think. Sorry, I need to close those. Okay. And you could, we could do this one Soft Seafoam and this one Old Olive. You know, I forgot. I keep forgetting that I have 2 cards today. So I'm just taking, oh, this one's almost dead. You can tell what color I use a lot. So this is the dark Old Olive. You don't have to blend it a lot. Let me see. Nope, that end's done too. You don't have to really blend it. Your designer series paper might not blend as well as your cardstock. Like I said, it isn't thick. It's not very thick, so I'm just adding some in. My marker's dying here. And this larger leaf pattern doesn't have as much to color in. Now this is the light, and I am using the brush tip just to make it go quicker. I've been practicing with the brush end instead of the nib. To try to learn to use it better. You can see my dark was dying a little bit, so it's not very dark. I think the lighter was darker. So I'm gonna, now you could go over these as well with your green, and any white spots would be filled in. So you could do that if you wanted. And I'm not worried about being perfect. There we go. So there is Old Olive. Now, I'm going to do this one really quick with Soft Seafoam. And I'm curious, do you think we should use the green over here and kind of add some color to our stripes, or do you like it as is? I like the tone of this Soft Seafoam. It's very different. It's a very different green. I don't even know if I'm gonna get the plant correct, but I think it was called like lamb's ear or something like that. It's a very soft, it has very soft leaves, and that's what this reminds me of. I might have called it the wrong thing. Vicki, correct me if I'm wrong, because she's my plant my plant lady. I don't remember these things. Where we used to live, we used to walk a lot, and there was a lady that always had this really pretty flower garden, and I would always stop and talk to her, and she tried to educate me, but it just doesn't stick. Yes, mint macaron was definitely one of my favorite greens, and the Soft Seafoam is just a tad, it's just a little bit lighter than that, same kind of color tones. So yeah, I love those for leaves, and I've kind of been neglecting that color. Thank you, Vicki. thank you for joining us for a little bit, Carol, and thanks for you know, catching us live. We're happy to have you join. And 20 years, wow, that is awesome. So you probably have lots of knowledge you can impart to our community. But enjoy your granddaughter's birthday. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. No, it's not viney, Vicki. But I'm saying the color reminds me, the soft seafoam color reminds me of those soft leaves. So yeah, this doesn't look like the lamb's ear, but the color, this soft seafoam, just for whatever reason, it kind of reminds me of that. So okay, so, oh, thank you for the love. So I saw, let me see if I can find the, so Deb says she likes it as is. So what do you guys think? So if you wanted to add a second color, you could add it on this where there is white, and you don't have to fill in all the white. You could just add in a little color like stripes. So on this one, I just colored it in, and then I used my color lifter. I went over it to just kind of smudge the edges. Thank you, Linda. So, you can leave it as is. I feel like I'm going to show you, I think I'm going to do it on this one. So I'm just going to, I'm going to take the light, and I'm just going to do a little swatch of color here and there. I'm not going to fill it all in, just a little bit. And then I'm going to use my color lifter and kind of just push it through a little bit. So I just added a little color on that end. Okay, now we have to, oh, Joan, I'm glad. Joan's thinking like me this morning. Oh, thanks, Vicki, too. You guys are right along with me. Okay, now we just have to add our greeting and mount our card. So we've used Old Olive and Soft Seafoam, and we can use those colors for your card base. Yeah, accents are always good. So you could color this white part in like I did on this one with Pool Party, or Balmy Blue, or even if you wanted to kind of fill it in, but you want that moody look, you could use smoky slate, like light smoky slate. So, and that would just help your color kind of pop and be, you know, at the front. It was really, would be eye-catching. So, let me grab Old Olive and Soft Seafoam. I just went to my trusty box where I have, I like to keep these already cut. So you can see that really changes the paper. And we're going to put our greeting here. So don't say, oh my gosh, there's this big dark area. What do I do with it? Well, we're going to put a greeting in there. So let me grab out my trusty box of shapes here. And you can use, I don't want any tags. You can use circles. You could use like a rectangle. If you don't have die cuts, no worries. Do not fret. You can just use a shape maker if you have those to make a circle, or you could use your trimmer and just, like I said, I have probably millions of these strips where I cut my paper down, you can use a strip of paper and cut it to the size of your greeting and add it in there. So I am going to fill this space with my greeting so that some of that darkness kind of gets covered up. If you fill it in, ooh, yes. So earlier Joan had mentioned crumb cake. Yes, you could use like the light crumb cake and do that. So you could definitely do that if you want to color the whole thing in. So I'm just trying to see what all I have in here. As you can see, I have a lot of little bits. So that one might even be kind of neat. And you also want to think about what greeting you want, because you want to have something that fits your greeting. I have paper pumpkin bits in here and all kinds of die cuts. So I'm trying to see what other sizes I have. So what kind of card do you think? What I have next to me is Simply Said. So I like they have some scripty, chunky greetings, and then they have this kind of type font where it's just all uppercase. So what kind of card does this feel like? I have just a note, hello, thanks, birthday wishes, happy birthday, thank you. There is a thinking of you in here. I don't really get that vibe from this design, but it could be. So I have small circles. We have several different types. And I have lots of old ones. Like this was the decal rectangles that retired. So use what you got and have some fun with it. And on the other one, I'm just going to cut a square with my trimmer so you can see. You can really be, can be for beginners or anyone, any level. I was trying to see if I had a small rounded rectangle, but I think I used all of them. So this is in these rounded rectangles are in the Nested Essential dies. And there's, I think I used all my smaller ones, but you could even use something like this and stamp, like if you have this coordinating stamp set, you could stamp this and then a greeting. Okay, so you can do all of those things. I think I'm just gonna go, I don't know what I did with my circle. I'll pull that one out. So lots of choices. Have some fun with it. I use up my scraps and die cut a bunch of things at once and just have fun with it. So here's this one. Ooh, I love that. So I'm going to cut a rectangle to go in here, and you can kind of, if you have a long saying, you can put it here and kind of cover up some of that darkness. You can also just put your greeting right here like that, okay? Or you can kind of do it like that. I like that, but I'm going to use a square over there. So I see 2 votes for thinking of you and a hello or just a note. So let's see. Let's do this first. Let's pick really quick. Do we want a circle or a rectangle over here? I got a little something on my die cut, so I'm just going to use my adhesive eraser here. Actually, that was the other side, so it didn't matter. So I have, this was from the Retired Stitched Rectangles. I have this one. So this would fit several different sayings. I have thank you pulled out. I don't know if just a note would fit on that. Nope. Hello would, though. And I'm okay with it not filling the space. Or we could do a circle, and I know just a note fits on that because I use this often. So what do you think? Hello fits on it. You liked the circle with the bits cut out. Let me pull that one back out. I think it was it this one? So we have lots of sizes of those, and there's different, now this one, there's different designs. So that one looks kind of cool because it kind of looks like leaves. I don't think I have any other ones cut. I need to like start separating these so that I have squares and instead of just all thrown in one. But okay, so we can do one of those. That's fine. Since we're doing a square on this one, or yeah, let's do a circle on this one. So what do you guys think? Do you like this circle or this one? They're about the same size. Let me see. I think just a note would still fit on there. Now, thinking of you would not fit on one of these, but we could do thinking of you over here if you want to do that. So let's do that. Let's do just a note. And I've got to decide which circle I like. All right, let's go with this one. You like the leafy one? I like them both too, Linda. Now, you know, this is where my struggle happens because I usually pick my colors like I already know exactly what I want to use. All right, let's do leafy. Vicki said leafy, so let's go with that one. I'm going to stamp this one with just a note. Now, you could use the ink colors. Let me clean this really quick. You could use the ink colors so they match. I used Pretty Peacock on the other ones, and I used Basic Gray. I liked Basic Gray versus just throwing a black greeting on there, but if you only have black ink, that's fine. So, do you guys want to do Basic Gray? I also have Smoky Slate ink out. Let me put these two away and get the Thinking of You. Or do you think we should match the, so the choices are gray or match the card base. Gray or match the card base. You can tell I use this greeting set quite a bit. So there's my Thinking of You. Yeah, the little leaf cutouts really does look go well with this paper because it looks like leaves. So I have Thinking of You and Just a Note, and we're going to do this one. I'm just going to, let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to stamp this on a scrap. Let me get a smaller one. And, oh, so I have card base and Basic Gray. I see a lot of Old Olives. So let's do Old Olive on this one. And then maybe basic gray on, or a smoky slate on this one, and see. Yeah, I agree, Deb. Soft Seafoam, it actually is not a super light ink, but sometimes when you're stamping greetings, it can, it just kind of can fade in. So let me just show, I'll show you that color. If you're not familiar with the Soft Seafoam, I think it's probably not used a ton, but let me just stamp it so you can see it. But I'm going to use gray on that one. So here is, it doesn't really fit on here, but since I'm not using it. So there is Soft Seafoam. So you can kind of see it against that. Excuse me. It would show up because we have this little moody area that's really dark. But typically, this color does kind of like to blend in. So I think it would work if you have this color ink and you would like it. But I'm gonna show you with gray, or actually I'm gonna use Smoky Slate. And on this one, I'll use the Old Olive. So, oh, that would not have been good. So I like to show you this because I like you to get kind of thinking about where you want to go with your card and what you want it to look like. So there's my thinking of you, and that's in the Old Olive. Now I'm going to just bring in my trimmer really quick. And you notice I haven't really adhered anything down just yet. I'm gonna cut that off, and this is going to go over here. And let me pull out Smoky Slate. So let me, and I'm just going to stamp it on this scrap piece here before I stamp it. What do you think? Which one, Vicki? Vicki said I would mat that one and pop it up. So just to kind of move things along, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my layer on. So I can finish up my cards. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with those strips. Remember those strips that I cut? I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So this is going on to the front. Oh, the Old Olive one. Yes. So you could definitely mat it. I'm not going to mat it today just for time's sake. But you could if you have some scrap. I also don't have any scrap Old Olive nearby. But if you had a scrap, you could measure, okay, you cut this whatever size and make a layer so that your greeting stands out a little bit more. I'm just going to pop mine up. But thank you for that idea. That would absolutely work. But just for time's sake, I'm not going to go searching for a piece. I probably have one. If you've seen my room, I have paper everywhere right now. I'm going to kind of straddle those two pieces and layer that. Okay, so let's finish off this card. So I just wanted you to see this because that soft seafoam in this instance would it would show. Excuse me, sorry about that. Thank you, Joan. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for the love. So let me pull my die cut in here. And guess what? If you stamped this and then you thought, oh, I don't like that, just put this aside for another card. This might cut off part of my tea here, but we're going to go with it. So this was Smoky Slate. You could use Basic Gray too. You know, I like to keep a lot of my greetings neutral. And I'm going to pop that up too with dimensionals. Actually, I need to glue this first. Look at me getting ahead of myself here. Okay, so we're going to do this. So if you're like me and you've been neglecting some of these colors that you've invested in, get them out, use them with this paper, and have a little fun with these. You could even pop this layer up too if you want. Put it more into that darker area. There we go. What do you think? You're right. I agree. I just saw your comment, Vicki. So if you use the soft seafoam, it kind of breaks up the area and it pulls in the color into all three pieces. So that is a great idea too. That's a good thought on that designing too. Okay, so I'm going to pull out my strips, okay, and I'm going to do it on this paper. I need to, let me see if I have the size cut. Pull out my paper stash here. So I like to keep my cardstock cut. Yeah, this is 4 inches by 5 1/4, so it's the same as the front. And then I have these pieces that we cut. So I'm going to add some quick color to this to make it match. There we go. Good enough. And we're going to use this strip on our layer for the inside. So you could put it up from the bottom. You could put it at the top. If you're making, and I forgot to mention this, you can make this landscape as well. All you had to do was switch your greeting. So this fits in either way, whether it's a portrait or a landscape card. You could also take all these little strips and create a layer on a piece of cardstock. I like to leave a little white strip at the bottom, but you don't have to. Remember on the other sample, I did not. I put it right up to the edge. And this is going to pop on the inside for our special message that we write to whoever we want to send this to. So again, you could use these little strips like Carol had suggested, and make some strip background cards with them and then just pop on a greeting. There we go. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. So remember, I have my whole stack over here ready to go. I can make a set of 6 cards or more. If you want to use these strips to make a card, you would just lay them out like this. You could even do that and make a card. I used 1 strip for the inside, but you could use 5 strips and make a card layer and add your color to these pieces and then just add a greeting. So that's seven cards with just stacking them, cutting them, shuffling the patterns. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. I really, really love our creative time together. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you give this a try. Whatever patterned paper you have in your stash, pick 3 to 4 patterns. This time I used 3, but I will share a couple videos where I used the 4 so that you can kind of see the other ways you can cut it. And pick some patterns that you like together and stack them, cut them, and shuffle them, and create a stack of cards to give as a gift or to use. So my challenge this week is going to be for you to send some cards to say, hi, how you doing? So maybe somebody you haven't spoken to for a while, send out a card to them and ask how they're doing. Trust me, we like to get happy mail. Nobody wants to get bills, but this brightens someone's day when they open their mailbox and they see a card from somebody. Thank you. Thank you all. And I appreciate all of you being here with me. So I can't wait to see what patterns you choose, what paper packs you're using. I will say this, if you are over on my Stampin' Create with Beth Facebook page and you share on the post, please let us know what papers you used so that if somebody sees a pattern that they like, they can go find it. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.